Hello students, today we'll be discussing about another oxide of carbon, that is carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide. Chemical formula is written as C. Now we'll be starting initially how was carbon monoxide found. That is, what is the history behind carbon monoxide. First we'll take the introduction in which we'll see about the history, the structure of carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, in which the carbon and oxygen, they are bonded by three bonds. Okay, there is presence of two covalent bond and one. So here now this is the structure of carbon monoxide. Here there are two covalent bonds between carbon and oxygen atom. There is one carbon atom and one oxygen atom. Carbon and oxygen, there is present two covalent bonds and one coordinate bond. This bond is not formed by the sharing of electrons. This bond is formed due to the electrons of one atom. That is, here oxygen atoms valence electron are used in formation of this coordinate bond. So here the three bonds are of different types, two covalent bond and one coordinate bond. This is about the bonding in carbon monoxide. Now talking about the bond length, the length of the carbon oxygen bond, it is found that the bond length is 113 picometer. Okay, carbon and oxygen bond is 113 picometer. That is, you can also say in terms of meter, it will become 113 picometer. That will be equal to 113 into 10 to the power minus 12 meters, or I can write it as 1.13 into 10 to the power minus 10 meters. That will be equal to 1.13 amps. So this is the bond length of carbon and oxygen in carbon monoxide. Now coming to about history of carbon monoxide. Actually in ancient time what was done was the prisoners, they were used to be kept in a room in which charcoal or coke was burnt. Okay, and it was the way of punishing the prisoner who was assigned to death. Okay, and he was locked in that room, and after some time what was seen, that after few hours he was found dead. Means this was a mechanism to give death to any accused person. So in ancient history it was not known what was the reason of the death of that person. Just simply they made it a practice that because of this people were dying, so it was very easy for them to give death to the accused person. Okay. Later on it was found out that it was due to the production of carbon monoxide because the room was closed. So there was insufficient oxygen, and due to this insufficient oxygen, on combustion of coke, in insufficient oxygen, carbon monoxide was produced, and that was the reason which caused death of the person. So this was about the history of carbon monoxide. Now the first person to recognize this gas was D. Lesson. Okay, in 1776, he said that when zinc oxide was heated with charcoal or with coke, there was production of a gas and it was blue in color. Now what he told, that gas, he assumed that gas to be hydrogen, but it was later found that that gas was not hydrogen, it was carbon monoxide, and this was found by William Cumberland, that the gas which evolved was carbon monoxide. This conclusion was made that this gas was carbon monoxide because in zinc oxide there was no hydrogen present, so hydrogen could not be liberated by this reaction. Then it was found that carbon, that is coke or charcoal, when it was heated with zinc oxide, it produced the gas carbon monoxide. So this was about the history of carbon monoxide, how it was first prepared. Now coming about the talking about the source of carbon monoxide. What are the sources of carbon monoxide? How it is produced and the places of origin of carbon monoxide. The source, it is produced during forest fires, volcanoes, volcano eruption, and other combustion methods. That is, by the combustion of, also the combustion is not complete, the combustion is incomplete, and you can say it is produced by the incomplete combustion of fuels, wood, released from factories. So this is the major source of production of carbon monoxide. Now we'll talk about the preparation of carbon monoxide. How can we prepare carbon monoxide? It can be prepared simply by incomplete combustion of carbon. Carbon, when burnt in presence of oxygen, that is also in limited amount or in insufficient amount, then it will produce carbon monoxide. This is the method how it can be prepared. So now I'll talk about the laboratory method. In laboratory, it is prepared by reaction of zinc with calcium carbonate. When calcium carbonate and zinc are heated, there is production of ZnO, that is zinc oxide, calcium oxide, and with it carbon monoxide is also. So this is the industrial method of preparation of carbon monoxide. Sorry, this is the laboratory method of preparation of carbon monoxide. In this way, you can prepare carbon monoxide. And now we'll discuss about the laboratory method. Now we'll discuss about the industrial method of preparation of carbon monoxide. Industrial method. In this method, carbon is carbon, that is the coke. It is heated in air. It will form a gas, that is producer gas. This producer gas is a mixture of carbon monoxide and nitrogen. Carbon, it will react with nitrogen of air and the oxygen. It will form carbon monoxide, and so this is the producer gas. Here the carbon monoxide which is produced is used in industries for various purposes. Another industrial method is when coke pass through steam. Okay. It will react with it. Here then hydrogen gas will be liberated and carbon monoxide. These together, the hydrogen and carbon monoxide, are known as the water. So in this way also we can reduce carbon monoxide for industrial use. This is known as water gas. Now we'll discuss about the properties of carbon monoxide, the physical and chemical properties. First we'll deal with the physical properties of carbon. It is colorless, odorless and tasteless. Not harmful in small concentration but is poisonous if inhaled in high concentration. That is, if we are in a room which is having the coke or charcoal burning and that room is closed, as I said, there is a lot of production of this poisonous gas, carbon monoxide, and if for a long time we are kept inside, it can also lead to our death. So you should never sleep in such room where the charcoal is burning and the room is, it may lead to death of a person. So it is very poisonous if it is inhaled in high concentration. Second property, insoluble in water. Means we cannot dissolve carbon monoxide. It is a neutral oxide. It is neither acidic nor basic. So we tell it to be a neutral oxide as does not turn blue litmus. Next physical property, that it is slightly heavier than air. Or we can see it is slightly denser than air because the average molecular mass of air is found to be around, it is slightly lighter than air. The average molecular mass of air, it is found to be near about 29, and the molecular mass of carbon monoxide, that will be the atomic mass of carbon, that is 12, plus atomic mass of oxygen, that is 16, that will become 28. So it is slightly lighter than the. So these are some physical properties of carbon monoxide. Now we will be discussing about the chemical properties of carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, it is a good reducing agent. That is, it has the tendency to convert into carbon dioxide. Okay, and if it will accept the oxygen, then it will be reducing the substance. For example, here if I talk about the reducing character, that is reducing nature of carbon monoxide, then if suppose oxide of iron, that is ferric oxide, it is reduced by carbon monoxide. That is, carbon monoxide will accept the oxygen and it will form CO2 with the reduced metal. So this is generally used in the metallurgical process, okay, where we have to extract the metal from their ore. So this is the reducing nature. Similarly, it is used for many other metallurgical process where it acts as a very good reducing agent, and there it converts the oxides into the reduced metal. This is very important chemical property of carbon monoxide. Next is Carbon monoxide, when reacts with oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide. That is, it burns with a blue flame. Okay, this also shows the characteristic of carbon monoxide that it burns with a blue flame. It is a characteristic coloring flame. In presence of oxygen, it will burn with, it will form carbon dioxide. Now, if the oxygen is in axis, that is, if carbon monoxide is treated with the axis of oxygen, then the production here is of carbon dioxide and ozone. Okay? So, depending upon the amount of carbon monoxide and oxygen, the products are formed. For example, if carbon monoxide and oxygen are taken in the ratio 2 is to 1, then they will form carbon dioxide. But if carbon monoxide and oxygen, they are taken in the ratio 1 is to 2, then they will form carbon dioxide and ozone. So these are the chemical properties of carbon monoxide. Now we will discuss about the uses of carbon monoxide. As already discussed above, it is used as a reducing agent in various metallurgy processes, such as extraction of iron, purification of nickel. So in this way we can use carbon monoxide largely as a reducing. The next important use of carbon monoxide is that it is used in the production of synthetic petrol, phosgene gas, and so it is used in chemical production. Just it is used in the production of methanol. Methanol can be produced when we will treat carbon monoxide and hydrogen. That is, by the hydrogenation of carbon monoxide, we can prepare. Similarly, it is also used in the production of acetic acid. When carbon monoxide, which will react with methanol in the presence of a catalyst, that is rhodium. So in this way, it is used largely in the production of different chemical compounds. The next is, after the uses, we will be discussing about the harmful effects of carbon monoxide. One of the more important use of carbon monoxide, that is, it is also used as fuel. Earlier it was used for street lighting, so it was used as fuel, or you can say mixture of carbon monoxide and other gases, because when I am talking about lightning and all, the producer gas and the water gas, they were used for various purposes. So we can say that the mixture of carbon monoxide and other gases are used as. So these were the important uses of carbon monoxide. Now we will be discussing about the harmful effects. As I have already said, it is very poisonous gas if it is inhaled in large. So we will see why this harmful effect is. It is due to when we breathe carbon monoxide, then the oxygen which is required for us to breathe, that is not being available to the hemoglobin, as hemoglobin is the carrier of oxygen, so it will not get that oxygen, and instead of that it will get the carbon monoxide. So due to this, there will be formation of carbon, you can say there will be formation of carboxyhemoglobin. Instead of oxyhemoglobin, there will be formation of this carboxyhemoglobin, which is harmful for us. So you can say, and if it is inhaled in slightly higher concentration, yeah, you can say very less concentration is not that harmful for us. But when slightly higher concentration is inhaled, then it causes to carbon monoxide poisoning, that is CO poisoning. Okay. So we can also say that it leads to carbon monoxide poisoning. And what is this carbon monoxide poisoning? Most people are not even aware that they are suffering from this, because well, the simple symptoms of this carbon monoxide poisoning, it is that there is headache, dizziness, giddiness. So these are some symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning. We are not generally even aware when we inhale slightly higher concentration. These symptoms are so common that we don't take them seriously. So these are the harmful effects of carbon monoxide